Hi, I'm Susanna Bowling, and this is live from the Hotel Edison. Times Square Chronicles presents Zoom Style. Our guest today wrote for the Times Square Chronicles under Ask Sam, under etiquette, and her book, 90 Days to Husband Number Two, which has just been released in Spanish. This book has gone all over the globe. She then got married and now does a project with her husband called the Love and Design Project. She's an actress, she's a speaker, she's a writer. We're talking Samantha Bessudo Drucker.
Oh,
Samantha, hi, how are you?
hi. Wow. Thank you for that glorious introduction.
You're
I'm so
welcome.
touched and
I
so
realized I
delighted.
missed stuff.
Oh, thank you. I,
And
I am so, what?
you're wearing clothing that should have reminded me of it. You're one of the poster childs for the American Heart Association in Just Go Red.
Yes, this year I had the great honor to be selected as one of a handful of spokeswomen for the class of 2026 Go Red survivors. Um, so there was a billboard in Times Square. We've been here, there, and everywhere, sort of telling our stories and talking about advocacy and awareness and how we survived our heart incidents. So I've been doing that for 14 years now. I Since I survived my heart attack, I have been talking about advocating for oneself because heart disease is the number one killer of women, and it shows up in women differently than it does men. And still, we're behind the times, whereas a lot of women don't get listened to when they say to the doctor or the triage or the emergency room, I'm not feeling right. And so
And you were
I
young.
I
How
was
old were you when?
41. I was 41, former professional athlete, a runner, a long distance runner, worked out like a fiend. I was ripped. I was young, and everyone was like, "Oh, you're young, you're fit, you're female. This is just stress, honey. Something going on with you that's stressful." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going through a divorce and all kinds of things with business, but I don't feel right. There's a fluttering in my arm. There's a fluttering in my neck. It feels like my heart's in my neck. Oh, this is just stress. Here, have some Klonopin." So, like 5 days and four doctors later, and a dentist, finally, I was at a cardiologist's office, and the cardiologist was like, "Well, we're too busy to see you today. So, we'll give you a heart monitor, and you can come back next Monday and we'll take it from there." And I was like, "Excuse me." But I took time out from my workday. And because of you and this appointment, I am wearing sweats and sneakers in public. Are you kidding me? I'm going to sit right here in your waiting room until you put me on that treadmill. And so I was like the last person they saw because they really thought I was going to give up. And then I was like 12 minutes running uphill, and they were about to pull the plug. And then finally a blip, and they're like, "I don't know what it is, but okay, we'll send you for an angiogram the next day." So the next day was my birthday, and I went for the angiogram. And he's like, "Oh, you're young, you're fit, you're female, you have no signs, blood pressure, pulse, EKG, everything's perfect, honey. You'll be out of here by 4 o'clock this afternoon. I'll send you home with some Plavix. You'll be fine." So I was like, "Look, doc." He's like, you can watch your heart on the monitor and everything's going to be fine." I'm like, "Look, doc, today's my birthday. You tell your bartender to juice me up. I don't want to know a thing. And do not let me look at my heart on your monitor because I will pass out on your table." I wake up, the cardiologist walks into the room, and he's like, "I don't know how to tell you this, but you're an angel." And I've been a cardiologist and an interventionist for 30 plus years, and I've never seen a heart as strong as yours. I don't know how you survived for 5 days like this. Both your arteries were 50% blocked, and I needed to put three stents in you immediately. The only scientific explanation I can come up with as to how you are still alive is your years of exercise, decades of exercise allowed your heart to get one really strong and two to create other little mini capillaries through which blood could flow. So that's why I'm still here. And then the next, and then I was like, okay, great. Well, thanks, Doc. Best birthday present ever. So when am I going to get out of here? And he's like, honey, you just had heart surgery. We're gonna keep you here overnight and we're gonna keep you through probably till late tomorrow afternoon. And I was like, no, I have a TV show to host tomorrow morning. We're filming a pilot. I've got to host in 3 languages. No, you need to bust me out of here at 10 a.m. He's like, no, no, no. You just had heart surgery. You're not going anywhere. I said, Doc, if I can't do the things that are meaningful to me,
Mhm.
and you should have just left me on the table. So you're either going to bust me out of here early so I can get to set on time, or I will just leave. It's up to you. He's like, okay, okay, okay. So I've always been like that. I've always been somebody that is reliable. When I say I'm going to be there, I'm there. And I
Let's go,
wasn't
wait,
about
let's
to.
go back because you go on the thing and they're doing the EKG. Did they, did you immediately go into surgery or did you even know you were going into surgery?
No, the day I saw the cardiologist for the echo stress test, they just put me on the treadmill. And then they sent me to the interventionist at NYU the next day, where I went in, went under, and woke up with stents.
But you didn't know that you were going to, did you know you were going to go under when you went to the interventionist?
I knew nothing.
So it was
I
like,
knew nothing.
surprise.
Yeah, surprise.
Oh my God. And so did you get out to film the TV show?
I did. I showed up the next morning. I was just like 10 minutes late. I don't th I had a little bit of puffy face going on, but I was there on set and I hosted in 3 languages and I met one of my dear friends. I met that morning and it was instant love, Lydia Sussex, who I adore. She's one of the high-powered brokers in town. She found me my apartment, which
Mhm.
now we are, of course, renovating and filming for the next season.
Oh, this is the one in the UN near the UN.
Yeah, this is the right. This is going to be the next future season of Love and Design Project. And Love and Design Project right now, I've been putting together the pilot and the first episode and the second episode and a season's worth of episodes. And
Wait,
we're
so you're going too fast for, I
sorry,
think, the audience. I know exactly what happened, but I think they need to know.
I will take it
Explain,
back. Yeah.
explain how you wrote 90 Days to Husband Number Two.
Back when I was a single gal in the city, I used to write Ask Sam for the Times Square Chronicles. And I still occasionally want to contribute as Ask Sam to the
Of
Times Square
course.
Chronicles. But I
Oh,
used to write about, sex and dating in the city as a single gal. I can't do that anymore. I'm a married lady. But I I would write all of these etiquette pieces that were very modern and very edgy and the etiquette about and navigating some of the romantic interludes that one might have as a single modern woman in the city and how
well,
to
tell
navigate
everybody
those things.
because you were an etiquette expert. You were on TV. You
Yes.
were all over God's half acre talking about etiquette.
That's true. I was a celebrity image consultant for 20 plus years, and I had a beautiful adventure of a ride. It was wonderful. I did all the morning shows, I did all the evening shows. When somebody wanted to know about fashion or beauty or lifestyle or etiquette, they would call me in. And I was really honored and always honored to be considered an expert and to chime in with my opinions. So that was a beautiful thing. I mean, Time magazine, a 4-page spread, and the New York Times came calling a few times, and a constant contributor to the Wall Street Journal at that time in the pursuits section. I would chime in all the time. So it was like an incredible, like 20 plus year experience as a celebrity image consultant. And during that time, I felt that for single modern women in the city, And when dating, there was so much to navigate. And I feel like a lot of women didn't have these tips and rules and standards and boundaries in place to navigate these situations politely. And I always feel like honesty is the best policy. So I'd write a lot about that. I'd write about meeting people at bars. And I wrote about when that movie, Booty Call, came out. I wrote a piece called uh, Booty Calls, Friends with Benefits, and I don't know, something else in the city. And I categorized each relationship. Oh, and one night stands. And I categorized each of them and prescribed the etiquette and protocol for each of those scenarios. Because I feel like delivering things with a sense of humor, delivering information, especially when it's delicate information, with a sense of humor is key. So I wrote all of these articles, and then I got a chance to interview Joseph Shapira, who was the inventor of internet dating in the form of J-Date back in the 90s. So he had created a new app for the millennial generation. And so I went to interview him. I was very impressed. He's like a larger than life character. And all of these, 20 plus years as a journalist, that was one of the most extraordinary interviews I ever conducted. And I still have it in my archives. And so at the end of the interview, I was like, look, I dig what you're doing. I get it. And you want the next generation to be able to meet, date, and mate. I get it. So I'm going to match your mitzvah with a mitzvah, and I'm going to give you 90 days worth of coverage. And I'm going to call the series 90 Days to Husband Number Two. And that's what I'm going to do. So instead of writing you a blurb, an article that will be forgotten the following week, I'm going to keep it going. I said, I'm currently closing down my office, getting ready to move out of the country to start a new chapter in a new business.
Cartagena.
I was going to move to Cartagena and open up a beauty bar, an organic beauty bar. And I was like, so I'm going to live into two futures, into two realities at the same time. So I'm either going to move and start a new chapter, or I will find husband number two and stay in New York. Both, I'm open to both things being possible. So I wrote these articles for you every week. I was sending in articles about the dating adventures and mishaps on this dating app. And once again, with humor, because you have to have a sense of humor to write about dating. I don't think it's possible to separate the two. So then I'm like about to give up. And I'm like, I can't take it anymore. I can't waste my time just with all of these ridiculous people. I can't. The last one had a puppy that peed on my shoe. Like I wasn't amused. So I was just like, no, I can't take it
I
anymore.
was.
I was like, I have things to do. This is not, I can't. I just can't. I was like, oh, but I told my readers I had to have a sense of humor. Oh, why do I say these things? So I was like, okay, I have to take my own medicine. All right. One final swipe before I throw my journalistic integrity out the window. So I was like, okay, one final swipe. I swiped, and there he was. And I was like, oh my God, that's a grown up with an intelligent face. I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but I want to meet him. So I did the thing that I never did in my entire life, and I hit the like button, waiting for my phone to just explode. And we exchanged some messages, and then we started talking on the phone, and then we met in person. And we discovered that we are both first generation Franco American, that we both happen to be Jewish, that we both speak French, that we're both the oldest. So we have this shared experience of French immigrant parents and being first generation American and being the eldest sibling and all of those things, and growing up Jewish in the northeast of the United States. And so we had at least common languages. But here's where it got interesting. He's an architect. He was president of a firm that designs hospitals. And Now he's independent. Now he has his own office. He's doing his own thing and he's doing hospitals and residential and he's doing great things. It's very exciting to see. But back then, he was still at this national firm of healthcare architects. And he said, "Oh, please come to my office." And I was like, "Look, if you're inviting me to your office because you want me to be impressed by your corner office with the big view and your big desk as an extension of you, those things don't impress me." He's like,
Sorry, apologies.
he's like, "No, no, I, I, I want you to see the energy I've built in my office." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, if we're talking about energy, that's entirely different. I'll be there." So I was there and I saw that he'd built incredible energy in his office. His people clearly loved him, which was a great sign to me. And I walked into his beautiful corner office and I saw the view and I was like, wow, like the relief molding work on the crown of the neoclassic building across the street is just gorgeous. What a beautiful vantage point. And he looked at me in his office full of architects and said, "You're the first person to ever notice or identify the building." So my mother was a very famous industrial graphic designer who was educated as an architect. In Paris. So I know how to read plans. And I grew up watching her tear down walls and construct and design all kinds of things. He was impressed that one, I had an education, at least a basic education in architecture, and that I knew how to design and that I knew how to read plans and that I knew my architecture. He was impressed. So we just clicked. So, but then I left, we had like 6 dates and I left the country and then he sent me a ticket and I came back and the holidays turned into 3 months and I was like, look, I got to start my life now. So I gotta go. And he's like, no, no, I thought that we could build a life together. And I'd like to start by building you a kitchen. And I was like, excuse me? Don't get any ideas just because you like my cooking. He's like, no, 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 that's not what I meant. I just want to make a life with you. And this is, it's my love language. It's what I know how to do. So I'll do anything you want. And I was like, okay, walk with me. I took his hand. I'm like, can we take down this wall? Can we take down that wall? What's my budget? He's like, whatever you want. I'm like, that's the right answer. Can we do this? Can we do that? And so it started like that. And then I was like, Jeffrey, you told me you wanted to ultimately find a partner in this life that you could build a business with. And I was like, I know what we're going to do. I said, we are going to create a renovation show about renovating apartments, not houses. I don't want to see 10,000 square feet in Texas. It's not how people are living these days. I said 80% of the population of the United States lives in apartments. That's where the world is going. I want to talk about thinking vertically and convertibly and city living because, if we all need to be in the city, it should be fabulous. Not just the outside world, but where we live when we go home at the end of the day, home should feel good.
Should
And
feel nurturing.
exactly. It should feel good. It should feel calm. You should feel wonderful in your space. And I feel like that is possible even in small spaces, smaller
Absolutely.
spaces. So I was like, that's what we're going to do, Jeffrey. It's going to be a show all about urban renovation, all about apartments. He's like, that's a great idea. I said, I know. I'm full of great ideas. So we started doing that. So we did season one, we'll call it, as a proof of concept, which lives on YouTube as a proof of concept. I did everything myself. We did everything, the filming, the everything. I did the editing. Everything was, sort of homespun. I did that as just a proof of concept of what it could be and put it on YouTube. It
And
won't be what?
that's impressive because I know you and technology is not your thing.
Not my thing, but like I've learned that if I have a private lesson in something, I'll get it and I can do it. That's how I work. I get lost in big group classes, but I hired somebody to spend 2 hours with me teaching me how to use iMovie.
Oh, yeah, fabulous.
And then after 2 hours, I was like, oh, I got this. I got this. So then I started like teaching myself to edit. So season one currently lives on YouTube, but it won't be there for long. So if you want to peek at it now, everybody, because it's about to go on silent, on invisible, because I'm about to pitch our renovation in Florida, which in my mind is season two, but for the rest of the world would be season one. And I'm currently pitching this to networks right now. So I'm really, really excited. I've been hunkered down editing again, but I got somebody else to assist me, somebody who really knows their stuff. And it's been great. It's been an extraordinary ride. And, I know that a lot of people try to do something, some sort of hobby with their spouse. And this is what we do together. We renovate homes. So
No,
it's been.
I remember when you came back from Cartagena, you came to see me with Jeffrey. I think I was like one of the first people to meet him.
Yes, you were one of the first people to meet him, if not the first person to meet him.
Yeah, and I remember seeing you two together thinking, yeah, she's not going back to Cartagena. This is not happening. They're together. And there was such a synergy between the two of you. You have so brought out Jeffrey's personality because when I first met him, he was very shy, very reserved. I mean, he talked to me, but he was shy, he was reserved. Now he's out there.
He's out there. He's totally transformed. He just needed some
He turned
love.
into a Samantha.
Kind of did. I rubbed off on him a little bit, and he's rubbed off a little bit on me. But I think he needed a partner. He needed some love, and I think that grew
You are
his.
perfect for each other.
We really are. We're totally polar opposites. As you know, he's very
Yeah.
reserved and not maybe naturally social, although I've brought that out in him. And as you know, I am a social butterfly. I adore people. I like to know about people. I like to have conversations with strangers. Typical of a journalist, right? Like I enjoy meeting new humans profoundly. And
Well,
I'm very, what?
Jeffrey just met Prince Max, and Prince
Yes,
Max, love, love, love Jeffrey.
yes, we met Prince Max thanks to you for sending him to the Go Red Gala
Welcome.
to
I was seeing
cover
the
it.
show.
It
I was
was
in Tony
wonderful.
season.
It was so nice to see him again. I had met him on three other occasions over, I don't know, the last 10 years or so or more, 20 years. I've met him maybe three times. But it was really nice to have a real conversation with him. Was lovely. What
Oh,
a
he's super intelligent.
Oh, he's brilliant. And a nice person. He's a
Very.
lovely, lovely, beautiful human being.
Yes, he is.
And he deserves every click of his popularity because he's an adorable human. He really is.
He cares about people. He cares about causes. He cares when he's talking to you, it's a one-on-one conversation. It is not you and then there's everybody else. Oh, there's the famous person. He's not like that at all.
No, not at all. He gives you, when he's talking to you, it's like you're the only person in the room,
Mhm.
which is a talent. And he's not looking over his neck to see if there's somebody with more power and influence or fame to talk to, or someone else he might know, because he knows everybody.
He does. That's why he and I get along so well because both of us are social butterflies. But he more than me. But we also, when we're at an event and we're talking to somebody, we really want to have the conversation and we really want to hear what you have to say. He'll remember, like, you won't think, oh, yeah, right, he's really listening. Oh, no, 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 he is. He'll bring it up.
Yeah, no, he's really tuned really into you, and his energy is extraordinary. And he's just a beautiful human being, and I'm so glad that he's on the earth with us. He's really like really an extraordinary person. So it was delightful, and Jeffrey loved having a conversation with Prince Max, and so I'm delighted that he also enjoyed Jeffrey's conversation. And no, that's great,
We
and
want
I
to get
hope.
together. We want to get together with dinner with you.
I would love that. We would love that. You tell me when and we'll set it up. I'm going next Wednesday to Florida. And then I will be back in, let's say, 2.5, 3 weeks.
That's good.
Right now, I'm like on a 3 week loop. I have a podcast to do in Miami.
Oh, talk about the podcast that you do.
Oh, well, this one is for someone else's podcast. They invited me on, coming up, 5-star podcasts. They've invited me to, they occasionally invite me to come on and talk about dating. Um, but it was in the pandemic that I finally was able to go through all of my notes and all the articles that I wrote for you about dating. And that is when I wrote this book, 90 Days to Husband Number Two, 10 Rules to Find Him.
There's
And what?
there's Jeffrey and you.
Yes, he made the cover. And this was the day of our civil wedding in Paris in the troisième arrondissement. And that was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful wedding, beautiful day, family wedding. And it was beautiful. It's been an extraordinary adventure. So at the end of the pandemic, I felt that in a post-pandemic world, I really needed to make a much larger, deeper chapter about internet dating. So I decided to rewrite the book. So I rewrote the book and reorganized and expanded upon things that I really felt the new world needed.
Oh, so this is
So
the revised version.
yes, yes. So I wrote it twice, and then I decided I needed it in Spanish. So it is in Spanish, and there's a black book at the back of the book because I found while I was internet dating pre-Jeffrey that everybody's name is Steve or Michael or John. So I got a Michael confused. There was like three Michaels that were talking to
Oh
me.
no.
I got the Michaels confused. So when I wrote my book, I put a black book at the back of the book, which is now available independently as an electronic downloadable on Etsy. So just in case you don't read, but you want a place to keep track of all your dates and who's who, I put it there. Um,
That's hilarious.
because and I wrote the book with a sense of humor because that's the only way I know how to deliver things. Because you don't want to mix up the Michaels. And so I put a heart rating there and where you met him, what website, and any information that you gather along the way so you can keep all the Michaels straight. Um, so that was that. And now it's out in Spanish. And then this year I will do the Audible and then it will be translated into French. So there's a big plan. And then adjacent to my book, I realized I had a lot of dating humor. And I went back to school in the pandemic because I
It's
started out in life as an actor and just became a host and a personality as an expert. But I was theater trained at NYU, and I really wanted to do film and television as an actress. So I know that things had changed in the world since I was, acting. Back in the day, I remember my first headshot was black and white, and we called them glossies back then. So, do you remember?
but I
So,
hate to cut you short. We're like
out of
at
time.
what would you like our audiences to know that you haven't said yet?
I would like you to know that out of this book was born a stand-up comedy set, which is called, excuse my language, but fuck no, low maintenance. And it's about standards and boundaries and all the humor that we encounter dating. And so I did a show last July, and I am doing another show either this July or August. And stay tuned, I will share with you when that is happening. Stand up comedy. I do dating jokes and heart attacks.
Samantha, thank you for being with us today. Are there websites where people can find your stuff?
Yes, you can go to samanthapesudodrucker.com. And everything is there. You can also go to my Instagram at Samantha Bessudo Drucker.
Samantha Bessudo Drucker, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm sorry I'm choking. I'm Susanna Bowling. I'd like to thank Magda Katz for always being there and helping us look good. Ramel Gopez, who puts everything up on the TV screens at the Hotel Edison. Yes, we are still a part of them. I'm Susanna Bowling. This is live from the Hotel Edison. Times Square Chronicles presents Zoom Style.